The Biden administration is forgiving $39 billion in student-led, or at least that's the plan. The move is said to affect more than 800,000 borrowers. So with more on this, let's welcome in our panel, Republican strategist Bobby Eberle and also Stacey Washington. She's the host of Stacey on the Right. Good to see you both. Stacey, let's start with you. Ladies first. So the Education Department says it will notify eligible borrowers in the coming days. That's the key word here, eligible, right? It may not apply to everyone who took out loans, such as myself, took out loans to get a master's degree back in 2021. But the announcement comes after the Supreme Court, of course, struck down President Joe Biden's plan to forgive up to $20,000 in debt for some borrowers. But this new proposal, Stacey, isn't really cut and dry. It'll probably take months, if not longer, if at all, to take effect. Is this, I guess my question to you, is this yet another pie-in-the-sky proposal from President Biden? What do you think?
Well, actually, since he's using the rulemaking authority that is actually given to the Department of Education to manage payments for borrowers, this is actually far more feasible, and it's the approach he should have taken initially. But because he was using this as a vote-buying scheme during the last election cycle, he had to go with the more popular, we'll just wipe your debt out. This program that he's talking about, that he announced over a year ago, is actually one in which you have paid a ton, you're not making very much money, and your student loans are a burden to you. 20 to 25 years of payments, that's a good borrower. And so then at that point, a very small amount of their debt that is remaining, which would have been taken care of if the interest weren't so high, that part would be forgiven. I don't know that Americans are going to see it very differently, but the smaller number of people who are receiving the actual benefit is going to play well for him. So it's to me what he should have done initially, but you know, he rarely does anything that I think is sensible.
So you mentioned a key point there. You think it'll play well for him. Bobby, I want to get your thoughts about that as a Republican strategist. Do you think that this new plan could potentially play well for President Biden?
Well, that's what he's banking on. I mean, and that's the whole thing. You know, they found this, what I see as an end around to getting some kind of student loan relief to someone. And the fact of the matter is that it's not the constituency they're going for. You want to talk politics. I mean, these people, as Stacey said, been paying 20, 25 years. They found some glitches and they want to correct it. But what he's going for is that Gen Z student loan. They've got it piled up, and they fell for it in the 2022 elections, said, hey, he's just going to relieve our debt. He's going to cure everything. This doesn't apply to them. This has no impact on them from a financial point of view, but from the political perspective, it's the only thing that will get down to them, filter down, is that he's taken away, he's relieving this debt of college students. And they don't realize these people have been paying for 20 or 25 years. But the effect politically is to reach those younger voters, which the Democrat Party has to have in order to be successful.
Well, I'm definitely not part of that Generation Z movement who's going to be affected by this.
Right.
Hey, Bobby,
passed it a little bit too.
Bobby, staying on the topic of SCOTUS decisions, and then Stacey, I want to get your thoughts about this. So, a group of 13 Republican attorney generals, you probably heard about this, sent a letter to the CEOs of Fortune 100 companies, warning they could be hit with legal action for using race-based preferences in hiring, promotions, contracting, that kind of thing. And that, of course, follows. It comes after the Supreme Court rejected, the race-conscious admissions at colleges. The letter reads in part, we urge you to immediately cease any unlawful race-based quotas or preferences your company has adopted for its employment and contracting purposes. You see the rest there. And Fortune 100 companies, by the way, include Amazon, Johnson & Johnson, AT&T, among others. As you both know, when people fill out an application, race, ethnicity is one of the things you have to fill out. But Bobby, are the winds starting to change on this with this push from these GOP, from these Republican attorney generals?
Absolutely. I mean, across the country, you see this on a number of cultural issues. You see people, it truly is a great awakening. People have realized that, you know what, the left may have been in control and continue to occupy positions of leadership in, media, entertainment, education, but the masses, the American people are fighting back. And so this is just it's a shot across the bow of the whole DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion movement, to bring it down. I mean, I grew up in the wake of the Martin Luther King's assassination, where we were grown up in elementary and middle school on a colorblind society and judging people on merit. And with the Supreme Court decision, what we see these attorney generals do is say, look, this is just the start. You know, we want to judge on merit. We have the most diverse society in the entire world. Let's have merit-based.
I want to get Stacey's thoughts on this as well. Do you agree there with Bobby? Do you think there's going to be a change?
Yeah, I do. But I just want to point out that with this, we can actually count on, if you're in a space, if you're doing, I do a national show on SiriusXM, I'm there because of my merit. My talent earned me that opportunity. And I don't like the idea that people think that I might be there because of some kind of quota or picking because, you know, of my demographics. And so this is everywhere across the country where well-qualified Blacks, Hispanics, minorities of every stripe will be able to stand with confidence on their merit when they earn the opportunity to be in a position without affirmative action quotas. But I also think that the unintended side benefit will be that we will have to begin to focus on the lack of educational options for minority students across the country who are trapped in failing schools and Democrat-led city jurisdictions.
Great point. Great point. Stacey, we're going to leave it there. Stacey Washington, Bobby Eberle, appreciate your insight. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right, friends, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button above. Once you do, tell your friends, share it, spread the word about the 13-minute news hour so we can keep growing. And for more great content, check out these videos right here, and I'll see you next time.